Is it hard to make a game? The question is a bit tricky. Many different factors define this question, and of course I'm not going to talk about them, because it will take forever. Let's leave it to others. Instead, I would like to approach the problem from the more practical point of view. I'm gonna create a game myself. Why not? And if you're interested, sit down comfortably. Hey, I'm Zyrity, and this is... No, wait, it's not yet time. At first, a little history. I started trying to make games almost 2 years ago. It started something like this. Hey, buddy! I'm your inner angel? Demon? Stalin? Anyway, I know that you're a lazy and pathetic piece of procrastinating and if you don't stop being that way, I'll make a damn Pearl Harbor in your head and repress every single piece of your already destroyed brain that remains after that, breaking it completely. So...
Welcome to the Gulag.
Okay. And I decided to do that. Why not? I had thought about this before, but now I got motivation. All of a sudden. But I have no skills or any ideas on how to do this, or where to start at all. So firstly, I started looking for information about the game engines. After a while, I decided what suits me best. Unity, you guessed it. Unreal Engine 4. In general, I watched a lot of video tutorials and even tried to make a game. Well, it existed for a while. There's no footage, but it looked something like this. Cube and flat and cube shoots, enemies, also cubes, obstacles, boom, dream game. That was it. I didn't finish it because I burned out from the visual programming system. I tried it because I didn't know how to make some C++. Anyway, the visual programming system isn't bad, but in fact its functionality didn't satisfy either me or my needs. And C++ was too hard for my virgin programmer brain. Thus, I switched to Unity and started learning C#, which is a lot easier. I sucked knowledge with the juice of dozens of YouTubers for some time, and I didn't learn anything. So I started practicing and making a game. I tried to implement 2D platformer shooter. It all started not even bad, but at some point I realized that with my knowledge and skills, its creation would take about a couple of years. Consequently, I dropped the project, and I don't regret it. Why? I saved the progress and it can be reused. This is followed by a casual game, a hyper casual one. I was making it for a couple of months, and to my surprise, I finished it. Well, it definitely exists, but either the idea wasn't the best or the implementation, but you know. After that, I rested a little. I played Cyberpunk 2077 for a month. You know Cyberpunk, right? And there is one thing that I learned from Cyberpunk. A samurai has no goal, only a path. Therefore, I didn't stop at one game, and in January 2021, I tried again. But the game turned out to be crap. And I thought, I know it sounds like an inevitable ending of any horror. Well, I thought that the idea were not enough to consider it. And what conclusion could be drawn? That I'm dumb. But more importantly, it's worth thinking about the ideas for a little longer than half of a second. Because that is how much it takes for a light wave in a vacuum to travel a distance about 150 kilometers, which is about the 1 millionth distance from the Earth to the Sun. So, a short excursion into the history and physics is over. Let's move to today's topic. This summer has been cool. Why? Because this is the best time to make something without leaving your home. At all. Well, except perhaps to go to the store for shopping. This is it. Here I saw the price tag. It looks simple, yes, but for now, you know what? I can make a game out of this! In general, since the main idea of the game came to me spontaneously, I left it to lie down among others for a while. And after that, it's still normal, and I thought, why not?
Okay, let's go.
Idea. Well, price tags, stickers... what can I do with them? Glue? I don't know. What else do you want to do with them? To fight the authoritarian regime? So, the main idea is that sticky dispensers are in bondage.
Gang enough.
To save them, you need to team up with other dispensers. Yeah, communication. Doesn't need for this actually. Everything for introverts. Alright, more stickers, more allies. More allies, victory is closer. Well, it's time to get started. And where do we start, you ask? Maybe, is it worth starting by asking yourself some questions? Maybe by pre-production, planning? No, Photoshop. Actually, I was just a little limited in resources. It's still better than nothing, so the choice is made. I decided first to draw products from 5 sections: food, chemical, clothing, furniture, and technological. Of course, I also need something to glue stickers. This is dispensers, conveyors on which everything will write, boosters, and some buttons. After that, I even tried to trace the image to vector graphic using Illustrator, and it turned out. Not without problems, but you get the idea. Next, I can paint a small introductory drawing for a beginning, like story or stuff. There are a factory, conveyor, an evil overseer, and all the main characters at once. I didn't give them names, but here they are: Jungkook, Simon, Martin, Christopher, and Jeff. He doesn't give a sh**. If life gives you an intro, make the internet. What? You need to make an outro, which I won't show you. Then I can come up with an icon. For example, the main character and the race of his cheek. Unique. Totally. No doubt. After that, I can make something like music. It turned out a little sad, but it will go for start. Creating a new project in Unity. What will be the name? It should illustrate the essence of the game. Clicker sticker. Wow. We import previously drawn sprites as well as music. And where do we start? That's right, from the save system. Why? Game design isn't about why, it's about why not. Why are my actions so meaningless? Why not to do something more consistent? In fact, why not to make a 2D simple roguelike game? Because this is a profitable business model. In fact, why not stick your head in a microwave instead of sticking your head out of the damn spaceship porthole and have suffocated? And wait, what am I talking about? Games. Okay, change the background color because it won't be visible in the game, but it's just easier to work that way. By we make prefabs from product sprites and adjust their size so that fewer resources are spent on creating objects and to more or less align them relative to each other. Main mechanic. So let's move to the main mechanic. Objects move from left to right. What? Object moves from left to right. We slide our fingers over them to get currency. Sounds simple, right? Right! Okay, making some magic and the object is being created. And even moving in the desired direction. Everything looks fine for now. Well, it's time for stickers. They work, but every other time. The corners don't always work as they should. Well, 50% of success is already a success. Sound like a business coach. Buy my courses, by the way. Less than you could ever think of for more than you could ever imagine. At least they don't refuse to move. And by the way, since there are some problems, then they need to be solved. And for this, you need to understand them. How? Visualization. Namely, open paint and throw in everything that happens and doesn't work as it should. I advise to everyone, and not necessarily paint, but anyway, it is better than a scrap of paper. Although it's not different from it. In general, the problem was solved, but it looks too boring. I want it differently. Well, that's better. Whoa. Where did you get carried? Do you reproduce by bonding? Are stickers a virus? Well, then it's probably pretty sticky, huh? Done. It happens like clockwork. The next thing is to auto-transfer large numbers into numbers with a ledger. As in all clickers. You know, pow pow pow. It wasn't difficult, but inspired by geniuses from the internet. Thinking geniuses, very cool. Well, if you have done something related to currency, then we can add a counter. Well, it seems to work, but a little dumb, just like me. But the currency transfer works. And 50% of success. Now I can think about fonts. I found the juiciest for a 10-minute search, making two versions of the text and ask independent sources of customer opinion for opinions. The first is normal, the second is shit. Yes, and you're shit, and your game is shit. Woo! Text Mesh Pro is too complicated. I'll make it afterward. Okay, a couple of buttons and a conveyor stand. Nice. If the product moves, then I need to think about the sales markets. What? Making conveyor belts. Technically, this can be implemented through a texture shift, but it can also be done through normal movement. It's even easier. You don't have to worry about the light and translation from the physical to texture movement. But in any case, for this, I need to adjust the room and sprite. Firstly, we need to have equal gaps between the marks. And secondly, and after the last element, it needs to be the same gap for the illusion works.
An illusion.
I think you know the system. The object moves and then, insensibly for the eye, teleports, when it's the point of the same image. Screen sizes are nonsense, so it needs to be taken into account from the very beginning, so you don't have to render everything later. I know that I'm talking about because I didn't do that and incurred retribution. So, stickers. They now change colors in the small interval. It looks a little nicer, but it's still too harsh, so let's make it a little smoother. This is better. What else? I can make a menu. Return to Photoshop and draw a couple of icons, buttons, and of course the menu. Green and pink, not pink. Well, it will go. Visual effects. I can make the blowout effect, when all the crap flies out when you slide your finger over the product and points, to know how much income per click, and nice. After some interesting but not really needed effects, we get something that looks normal. Then I may write a short script for the buttons, because it's high time. Is the menu with upgrades next? Well, let's go. And it takes a similar look, but the edges are not so smooth. In turn, I have to replace the texture and turn it. Note that, the buttons! Well, the hardest part is
programming.
first, rewrite start values of everything. Prices, the initial number of upgrades, add them to the dictionaries, etc. At the start they are needed so that the game doesn't say at some point, what is that variable? Well, it's supposed to be... Well, the problem immediately appears. A little of context. Big integer is a variable whose value technically has no upper or lower bounds, only device memory. I used it for bank currency. Why not? It is possible to make a slightly different concept of clicker and put more emphasis on restarts, but I've already made a decision, and therefore the maximum value is needed, and the big integer is just suitable for such a goal. And from this follows the first problem with big integers. It's not floating point variable, it's an integer, so it doesn't really carry functional values, or rather not at all. And for this, for example, I can simply store the value in the separate variable. Next, we do just a little amount of code to do what you see on the screen. The story in games for me is the painful subject, since the first project, and it usually takes me the most time. It is difficult for a long time, but nevertheless, it's here. But it is only able to calculate the price, and it happened according to the incredible formula of clickers, which has already become classic for them, and originates in cookie, clicker. This store can also add something to something, and I need to do something with the values, because this is somehow too much of an increase. You know, sometimes you run the codes and it's like thinking. You rush there, brew a cup of tea, don't worry, I'm simply trying to understand what the hell you wrote in your code. Well, hold on. And at some point I was like, not enough upgrades, we need more. At least the code doesn't need to be rewritten, well, not at all. I need some code to switch regime buttons. Authoritarian. Democratic. It kinda works. Well, what else? Backgrounds. We make them roughly in the general style with the introductory arts. We make a bit of all sorts of things, so far we have this. Refrigerators, shelvings, boxes, sacks, and something like Easter egg, I guess. It looks so so we need to change it to make it fit the game and screen resolution. I also added a couple of small interesting things, just for fun. So, for example, in first location you can turn off the lights. I don't know why, but why not? And of course we render the prefabs, because they are too large. Just like your motivation to do what you love. After that there was a little time pressure. In general, the problem that was mercilessly fixed were as follows. The story works, but only on paper, or rather in my imagination. And stuff that for the most part doesn't make any sense, which I already talked about. Here's a quick snapshot of highlights from this period. What the fuck? What? Why so? What? They create a system of interest-free lending, and with interest rate too, apparently. So it's time to think about the amounts of the game. For example, what should left ups do in principle? Was worth thinking about this before when adding them, but you know what I'll tell you about this? It's true. Well, let's say they add percent, because it's logical, they are expensive and to buy them you need a loan. The associative array is quite understandable. Okay, I can bank an intro. It's time, I think. If anything beats, I mean a small cutscene with text. Nothing unusual. Okay? That's better. And after that, an outro. But again, I won't show you. If you want to see it, you can download and play this game right now, gamers! Well, except that. This, by the way, is a question that I asked myself more than once while I was making the game. Fun. We also add a super secret button, and its functionality, I personally don't know what it does. And if you want to know, you can download it. Sounds. Some of the sounds were obvious too. Maybe it's just not such a bad idea to sound engineering lead. So I found the sound of the stickers right away. It was some piece of paper and a toothpick. Yeah. A few random sounds from the free sounds, plus sound from SFXR. Handling and customizable audio manager, which I honorably yoinked from a random person from the internet. Thank you. No, the party won't forget you. Let's make that something happens for a pause, unlike nothing. I'm talking about technical points of the application. Yeah. And also soon to lay out the game, by the way, which means we are already at the home stretch. In this case, it's worth remaking some of the company logos, which I have, for some reason. And they don't make any sense, but they look cool, so I can live them. I also show some Easter eggs here and there for logos. I don't know, it's like... And also the logo of the game itself. It doesn't fit the size of the icon, and I have to trim it a little because the incredible technologies of Google allow them to be one of the largest and the most successful companies in the world, but do not allow them to do that. One could load an image 500 by 500 pixels instead of 512 by 512. Okay. Since I started uploading the game to Google Play, I can immediately add the achievements, as well as add a description right away to them. I would say if I did it right away, but I didn't. And also the leaderboard. Why not? I wasn't able to fill in a lot, near the main page and all the questionnaires, because there's no builds and screenshots, so let's leave it that way for now. I add the code for achievements and put it in a special place in the project, in my special window. I can also add a small notification about the number of stickers received during the absence. Like, I received 20 million stickers while I was a dumbass. I know. And also make it so that new upgrades appeared gradually, as I earned nth number of stickers. For example, at first you see something like this, but then... And what time is it? What time is it? Advertising time! Okay, we import Google Ads and we do advertising. But not for nothing, but for boosters. Or rather, boosters for advertisement. There are only 3 types of boosters. When activated, they will be shown on top left corner with the timer. And what is... this is specificity of one of the boosters, namely discounts. Well, rather it shouldn't work like that, but simplify reduce process by 50%. Next booster is acceleration. And of course, doubling. And what about the timer? Well, it seems to work. Maybe. Free boosters with simultaneous activation look something like this. In addition, besides advertising, boosters can be obtained simply by playing. They appear randomly, fly and spin like this. And to get them, you need to click on them. Yeah. Well, it seems to me that I can do a medium build now. Kill me. Music. It's sad again, but it seems a little better. But it's still shit. Okay, no one will play with music anyway, so... Stop what? Is the leaderboard not working? Why? Only long is recorded there. But it's displayed incorrectly if it is transferred from big integer to long, rather than to double, for example. It's sad. I'm sad. Okay. Fixing a couple of bugs and problems and changing the control for mobile devices. Build. Well, there's still screenshots in which we professional below the cursor because we made them from computer. Plus, we'll make the icon into a background for description. That is, we simply smudge the background to the entire size of the image. Again, fixed resolution. Yeah. Correct name, description, show description as icons for achievements, because now it's necessary. Add short icons of achievements, a biography of kind of tennies, and my great-great-great-great-grandfather's favorite punk band. Not really. The last three are not true, but you get the idea. We see that the build performance of the game is not the best, and it turned out that it was a regular log, and I just set the normal FPS value. We fill in some questionnaires. This maneuver cost us 51 years. Fixing a couple of bugs, and that's it. Hell yeah, ready! In total I spent, how much that? 16 weeks? 4 months? What the Okay, there were some problems, but no, this is not. Next time I'll be faster than fast, quicker than quick. Maybe go for tricks. But this is a digression. I suppose if you want you can download the game for free on Google Play right now. The link is in the description. You can rate the video with a like if you liked it, with a dislike if you don't, and accordingly with subscribing to the channel or not, as you heard desires. And what is the conclusion? Is it hard to make a game? No, you just need to enjoy the process, and then all difficulties will cease to be obstacles. See ya! And in January, like that, huh? In general,
Quack.